What's up, everybody? So this video is mainly for me and my wife are going to the Philippines in a couple of days, and there's a guy who's going to be videotaping the reunion of my wife and her father. She hasn't seen her father in over 10 years. He was asking me to send pictures of before we met and our relationship as the years went on, and he was asking about my addiction story. So I never really fully told it, so this is probably going to be like a 10 or 15 minute video. But let's just start from the beginning. When I was young, I got burnt on my chest. It's all down my chest, it's on my throat. Kids used to make fun of me, and it really started out a young childhood of depression and just being made fun of and all that, which every kid goes through. That's just natural, it's normal. But I didn't deal with it well. I made good friends in high school in Chicago. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois. I made good friends in high school, and 9/11 happened. My dad's business went under, and he had to pack up shop overnight. I remember my grandfather coming up on a semi, putting all the machines on a semi so that the bank couldn't take them away. And we moved down to Tennessee overnight. And it was culture shock for me. So I grew up in the south side of Chicago, and it was a really fast-paced lifestyle. And here I am in East Tennessee, and it was a lot for me to take in. I didn't really make many friends down here, and when a kid came up to me one day, and we started hanging out, and he gave me a pill. It was a yellow hydrocodone 10, and I took it, and 30 minutes later, all the misery and pain that I felt in my life just immediately went away. It was it was it was the first time that I felt like okay with living, and that's how I started. So that graduated from pain pills to methadone to heroin to cocaine to methamphetamine to acid to mushrooms to 2CB, DMT, any drug you can name I've done in my life. And it was a chase. I was mainly addicted to opiates. I was mainly addicted to Oxycontin and methadone and heroin and those kinds of pills. That was my drug of choice. First time I took that yellow hydrocodone 10, I think I was 14 years old. I was a drug addict from 14 to 26. So as you can imagine, it started off as pain pills, and it graduated into, methadone or whatever. It graduated into heroin, and eventually I was shooting heroin into my arms. I was shooting morphine into my arms, and thankfully I was always smart enough to use new needles, and I don't have any kind of blood contracted diseases. I haven't really thought about it as in depth as I'm trying to think about it right now, but he's wanting to know my story, so I figure I might as well put it out there for all you guys, so that there's quite a few people who keep up with what I go through. So this is going to be my whole story, so I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. Yeah, so it just graduated into harder and harder drugs, ecstasy. I went to many raves when I was 2005. I went to my first rave festival. It was Ultra Music Festival in Miami, Florida. I went to 20 raves that year, in 1 year. It was the first year that I went to a rave. I went to 20 of them. I found a lifestyle, a culture that I identified with. The slogan of that community was PLUR, peace, love, unity, respect. I felt like there was people there who just they didn't judge me for my scar. They accepted me, they loved me or whatever. But that community is founded or surrounded by the drug use, and that's not good. So let's skip forward a couple years. When I was 23, I got into a really bad car accident. I was working for ADT Security Systems. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee currently. We had an install in Chattanooga, Tennessee at like 6 a.m., which meant I had to leave here at like 3 a.m. I went and did the install, and on the way back, I was huffing air duster, and I was doing 145 miles an hour in my Mitsubishi Lancer. I went from the very far left lane to the emergency lane in the right lane. There was gravel in the emergency lane. I spun out, hit rocks, and I hit like 2 or 3 trees. My car was totaled. I was wrecked. I broke my scapula, which was my shoulder blade is your scapula. Every rib on my right side was broken. It was the most excruciating pain I've ever been in my life. It took me many months to heal from it. So about 3-4 months down the road, the doctors got me on Opanas, which is a very hard pain medicine. I told the doctors that I had a really high tolerance. I was a drug addict, so they wrote me some strong stuff. My dad managed the medicine. He made me go on a lake one day, and I was bouncing around in the waves, and I got into an argument with him, and he had me locked up. It was the best thing that he ever did for me. When I was locked up, I was being irritable with the guards, and they had me set up. They put me in medium security when what I committed was a low security crime. They put me in medium security. They put me in a cell with 6 guys, and they all just stomped me. And I was terrified. Like, I couldn't even lift my arm to defend myself. I was still in a lot of pain from the accident. A couple hours goes by. The nurse comes by, and I go up to the nurse, and I have tears in my eyes. I'm like, you got to get me out of here. These guys are going to kill me. So another hour goes by. The guard comes, gets me, and he puts me in the sally port, which is the door between the pod and the hallway. And the guard throws me on the ground, and he stomps me. And they take me into security, segregation. They take me into segregation, and I had hallucinations for 3 days straight. I was in so much pain, I was hallucinating, and the hallucination was the same. It was repetitive. It was over and over. And you have to understand, I'm 23 years old, and I'm an atheist at this point in my life. I've never read the Bible. I have no Bible knowledge. So my hallucination is I'm being drugged down this old town by horse with ropes tied to my feet. People are throwing shit at me, and they're just throwing stuff at me, and they carry me out of the town to the top of this hill. They put my feet over this cross. They hang me upside down, and they stab me with spears, and they kill me. And it was the same hallucination over and over. On the 3rd day of these hallucinations, I get down on my knees, and word for word, I have to say it like this. I'm a Christian today, but I have to say it like this so that you understand what I was going through. Word for word, I got down on my knees and I said, God, you son of a bitch, you better fucking come save me, because if I walk through these fucking doors, I will kill myself. And out loud, I spoke those words. At that moment, I knew God was real, because at that moment, my pain didn't go away, but it subsided. I was able to sleep that night. I felt like somebody was there with me in that jail cell. I was no longer lonely. I was no longer alone. And it takes a lot. It takes a sincere prayer like that for you to meet God and to know that He's real. So anyway, did I stay clean after that? No, I was out there for 3 more years. I didn't get clean till I was 26. But that was the start of my path to sobriety, to God changing my life, to letting me know that I won't always be an addict. I don't have to be a recovering addict. I could just be a new, different person. And What happened when I was 26? I was back on the hard stuff, pain pills, heroin, and then I said, Dad, I want to stop now. So over the course of my life, I've been to 14 rehabs. I've been dead 15 minutes. I've been to jail, locked up in a total of about 2 years total. So the very last rehab that I've been through was another 1 year Christian program. I've been through a 1 year Christian program. So after I got out of jail cell, when I was beat down, I went through my first 1 year Christian program. It didn't work out. So skip forward to I was 26. I went through my second 1 year, and I made it there 6 months, and I finally was like, okay, I've had enough. I did not go back to Tennessee. I went to Florida where my sister lives, and that's when my life started to change. That's when I really gave up the drug lifestyle. That's when I surrendered anything that I thought that would make me feel good. I let God direct me and guide me into a life that would be healthy for me. So I moved in with my sister. I lived with her for 34 days. I walked 5 miles to work. So day one in my sister's house, I called over 50 places for a job to hire me over the phone. I explained to them I didn't have transportation. I would have to walk to work. And I called this landscaping place. And I explained to him, I said, sir, you're the 54th person I called today. I said, I really need somebody to hire me over the phone. I said, I just got out of drug rehab and I really need a job. Can you please hire me? And he said, how many people did you call? You really called 54 people. And I started reading off a list I had on a piece of paper. I wrote down everybody I called. And he's like, whoa, stop. He's like, if you really called that many people, he's like, if you could be here at 7 a.m. tomorrow, if you're here at 7 a.m., I will hire you. So I walked there. I started to walk there at 6:30. It was 5 miles away. So I was there at 7 a.m. and I walked there for a week, and then he gave me a bicycle, and then he sold me his daughter's moped. So that was the beginning of my new life. That was the beginning of the man that you see today. So yeah, that's when I was 26, and slowly I got a new car. It was a beater car, and then my Mustang. I had a red Mustang GT. When I was in an active addiction, I bought it from my dad, and he bought it back from me to pay for a lawyer to get me out of a sticky situation. Well, I'm in Florida, and he gives it back to me. He gives me the Mustang because he sees I'm doing good. And that's where I met my wife, Michelle. I was on every. I gotta let me cut back. So, my life, I've been with more women than I care to say. Finally, I got sick of being with all these women for one night at a time, and I made a promise to God one night. I said, all right, God, I'm sick and tired of being alone. I'm tired of being lonely. I want a wife. And eventually he started throwing women in front of me. I kept turning them down, and then I went like a year and a half, just me, myself, being alone. And I was on a lot of dating sites because I didn't know where to meet women. I didn't want to meet them at the club because that would be like a one night thing. And then I found Michelle. She was on like every site I was on, and I kept messaging her, and we finally we met up. We went to Starbucks, and we went on the beach, and the first time I seen her, I knew that she was the one. As crazy as it sounds, that kind of feeling, that kind of it's true, it's real shit. When you meet a woman, you will know that she's the one. So I've been clean and sober since February 15th, 2015. It's now February, February 10th, 2023. So that's almost 8 years. I've been through hell in my life. I was homeless for about a year. Again, I overdosed and died for 15 minutes. Overdosed 3 times in my life. 1 time killed me. I've been through a lot of rough shit, and she's a breath of fresh air. She makes me feel good, and she makes me feel like I'm not a piece of shit. And I don't know what I'd do without her. I don't know if there's really anything more I need to say about this, but yeah, I mean, God is real. She put her in my life, because without her, I don't know where I would be. She owns the business that we operate. She's 51% majority owner. I'm 49%. She takes care of the house. She takes care of the kids. She helps me with the business. She does more than any man could ever ask for, and I'm beyond thankful for her. So if you guys have any questions about anything, this has been a longer video than normal, but it's something that I had to eventually go through. And if you would like a more in-depth video, because I kind of skipped through everything really quickly, there's a lot to my history that I could really expand on. If you would like to see that, just let me know, and I'll make a longer video than 17 minutes. So I could honestly spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours talking about all the shit that I've been through. So if you guys want to see that, just let me know. I love you guys. Have a good day.